All right, what's up? Show y'all what I've been working on the last couple of days. Been working on getting the trans brake, the bump box, and the boost scramble all wired in. Kind of gonna go through the software of it in case you're trying to do it and you stumbled across this video. Hope it helps you out. First thing I'm gonna go to is the system ICF. Click on it, then go to the basic IO here. Click it. Once you go to the basic IO, you'll go to the top right, staging. And staging, you're gonna enable this. Now this is single pulse. You can also do duty cycle, but right now I have it on single pulse, and it's the time that the bump box will deactivate your trans brake. So start low on it, work your way up. These are just random numbers. Also gonna have the two-step on the trans brake. So you go to your Spark ICF, go to rev limiters and enable rev limiter 1. And set your rev limiter or whatever numbers you want your rev limiter to be at. Then you can go to your boost ICF. And once there, I have my trans brake enabled. So I'm commanding 5 pounds when I'm on the trans brake. And I also have the boost scramble enabled. So if I hit the scramble button, it's gonna add 5 pounds to whatever the whatever's commanded. So I'm doing boost by time, so this is the ramp. It's just a 5 to 20 ramp wherever I'm at. So if I'm at 20 psi, hit the scramble, it's going to add 5 and be at 25. Next thing you're going to want to go to is your pin map. So on your pin map, everything we've enabled, it's created these inputs. So you got rev limiter 1, staging input 1, and trans brake launch. So this is your two-step. So you want all this to work off your trans brake buttons. So you want to drag all them to the same input. So trans brake, launch, your rev limiter, everything's on the same input. Next, you're going to drag staging input 2 and your boost scramble to the inputs together. And that way you can have your bump box and you can have your scramble on the same button. These are both grounds. So your buttons you'll be using, you'll be wiring in the grounds. One wire will go to input, another one will go to a ground. Go to your outputs and you'll have your staging output here. So this is what will pulse width modify your solid state relay. So you have the bump picture, and then you will drag your boost solenoid pulse width modified negative, to here, and that will go to your boost solenoid. That way you can use scramble and increase it with a button. Next thing I'm going to show you is I'm using dome map, so I can use all this boost versus time and everything. There's 2 ways that I've tried doing boost control. Dome map is, both of them I got from Sloppy Mechanics. So dome map is you take a 5-volt signal wire from your map sensor and you go to your dome control setup and you tell it to read the dome map compressor source, and these are your PID loop numbers, 1.5, 2, and 0.5. And then you'll be able to use all of this. You'll be able to use your boost versus time and everything. There's videos on that too. That's pretty much it for the software side of it. We'll go take a look of how I have it wired. It's pretty straightforward as far as wiring it. Just takes me longer because I try to make everything look nice. So we'll start here. You have red trans brake, green is bump and scramble. They are wired to an input. So I have a red and white for my bump box and the white and blue for the trans brake, and they're just grounded, so them are ground wires. So when you press them, it grounds the input, lets the Holley know what you want to do. The outputs you created is the pulse width modified going to the solid state relay. Relay is a SSR25DD. It goes to the bottom left of it, and then you give power to the bottom right, which this is off of a switch. You don't have to have it off a switch, and comes straight off the battery. So I'll cut the ignition on and then cut the relay on. Powers the relay, and once the relay has power, you send power through the relay to the bottom of the solid state relay. It jumps to the top of it like the diagram shows on Sloppy Wiki, and then the top left goes to your trans brake. So wire it straight to your trans brake, and then ground on the other side of your trans brake. And when you press your trans brake button, you hear it click, light comes on, and you can look at the Holley top left where we was commanding 5 pounds on the trans brake. It's there, let off. It's gonna go to the boost ramp, so it's gonna go to 20 pounds. And then you'll see I can hit the boost, scramble, and it's gonna add 5 pounds to whatever I have commanded. Now I can't press both buttons with one hand, but the bump box feature also works. What it does is interrupt here and lets you bump forward. It's pretty much it on the wiring side of it. As far as the bump and scramble and trans brake, it just takes longer for me because I try to make things look nice. Still have some tidying up to do. That's pretty much it. So if you was looking for that information, then that's about it. I'm gonna start rambling about other things now, about the updates and everything. But other things I've been working on was I got all the switches wired in to this side. So the 4 other ones that are left are all wired to this relay side. And then the top one is another output, grounded output for one of the rad fans. One of the rad fans will be controlled by the Holley. I needed the other input, which I really don't, because I have a spare input and a spare output left. So I could use that output and let the Holley control the rad fans all by itself, and I might do that. But I can have a switch and just turn the low side fan on, so when I crank it up, I can always cut that on and cut the trans fan on with it, and then the next one will be for the lights, and then I have a spare. The green wire here is the fuel pump, so I'm using the fuel pump wire from the Holley. They recommend if it's over like 25 amps that you use a relay, so I'm using the wire as a output to switch a relay, and then I will send a wire from here to the fuel pump, and that way it's through a relay and everything. I have a bunch of spare relays. All these are being used, and 2 of these are being used. So I have 3 spares that I can use for whatever I need. You never know, stuff happens. So that's pretty much it on the wiring. All the control side of the wiring's done. I just need to do the output stuff to the fans, trans fan, and lights and everything like that. Also, what I was saying about the dome map is, this is my map sensor, and that center red wire there, you wire that to the input that I labeled dome map, and that tricks the Holley to think that you have a dome pressure sensor, which you don't. You're just reading it off your map sensor. This is the output for the boost solenoid. So I have a 4-port boost solenoid that will control my wastegate and everything, and allow me to, you know, scramble whatever I need to do, set different boost settings and everything. Last truck I built, I didn't do the dome map. I did the Pulse Width modified. I think Sloppy calls it like the dyno boost. Let's see if I can kind of show y'all what it looks like. I have it on here, so you can go to the inputs and outputs, and then, nope, I don't have dyno boost on here anymore. Anyways, I'll kind of show y'all what it looks like. Just put XXX and then enable it, and then it was a pulse width. It was a ground, that's right. And then you can configure, no, that's not right. That's not right because it's an output, duh, my bad. Okay, so I still have it here. So it's labeled dyno boost, it's pulse width modified negative, and then you enable it and go to configure. And this is, you can do, so you can set up the triggers. So this output will activate when boost pressure is above 1 PSI. That way the solenoid just don't sit there and chatter when you get to 1 PSI, which is hard to see on the screen. Sorry about that, guys. But it'll trigger it, and then you go to the pulse width modified negative, and you can set ramps and stuff in here. It works. I used it. I just wanted to really use the boost ICF and use all these features when you use boost versus time and trans brake launch and scramble increase and everything. So might even use this down here, the modulator. So yep, that's pretty much it on that. Trying that out this time. I think it'll work. I know it works. I've seen them use it. They say sometimes it's a little sporadic. It'll overshoot and undershoot trying to find the happy medium, but that's the PID loop. You just have to refine that. Water pump on, not all the way, just test fit and stuff. Got the loop in, radiator there. Give y'all a better look. So the buttons, I got them from Motion. So just got them wired there. I had to put connectors on it because the way my dash is, I'll have to unconnect them to put my dash in. I got the Motion Racework vacuum port. I got it hooked to the back of my intake and then to my fuel pressure regulator with the low dollar sports sensors, the map and the fuel pressure sensor. So pretty happy with it, man. This is pretty much everything in here. Fuel cell, the switch, like a breaker in case anything shorts out. The battery hooked up. That's the fuel pump wire right now. I don't have my fuel pump hooked up to the relay board just yet, but I will. I don't know if I showed y'all that, but there's the fuel pump. There's a filter, and then I have another filter up front. But yeah, pretty happy with it. Trying to clean the wiring up, make it look nice. Find a place to mount the 3-inch screen. But this helps you out or anything like that, let me know. If you got any questions, I'll try to answer them. Holley's pretty cool. You can do different things. So biggest thing I got left is building the hot side, and I have everything to do it except for some miscellaneous exhaust pipe. So I got my 44mm VS Racing wastegate. So I've used one before. Works great. Got a 4-port Mac valve. I used a 3-port last time. I used a 4-port this time for higher boost numbers. I got the 7875. I'm going to put the wastegate like I did last time. I welded it into the hot side or into the turbine. It worked great for boost control last time, so do it again this time. Turbo log here, the merge here. So I had to buy this separate. I bought this as a kit and it came with this one. And this one don't, I didn't want to deal with that. So I bought this one with the nice machined stainless steel flange. My brother 3D printed me some of these. You slide them on the weld L's and it shows you how to cope it. Very helpful. They slide them on, draw it with a Sharpie. That way you don't have to guess and keep grinding and taking a little bit by a little bit. You can pretty much get pretty close. It just didn't print the last little bit because he ran out of filament, and which is fine. He found the file online and just made it. I seen God, I can't remember his guys. He's a Canadian guy. Boosted something, but he he used them before, and I asked him, and a couple of people asked, and I don't know if he ever gave out the file or anything, but I was able to find it online. So if y'all are looking for this, I can get my brother to tell me where he found the file at, and y'all can 3D print your own, and makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, so pretty much there's my oil feed and my oil pressure sensor, my oil feed line. So my oil feed will be from my oil pressure sensor, so it's just the way I like to do it. Instead of coming from the low side by the oil filter, you go up from the oil pressure, and it's a shorter run. This is the engine I pulled out of a buddy's truck. He lost oil pressure. We had like 10 pounds of oil pressure, and it wouldn't get no oil to the top, and it was clattering real bad. I looked at the bottom end. The bottom end's fine. There's nothing spun or anything. I think the O-ring was just it was just shot because it was real brittle and loose. So I think it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna go through it and have a spare. We put him a new engine in, and with a warranty, so he was happy with it. So I got to keep that, and he paid me for it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I appreciate y'all watching. If y'all have any questions, let me know, and I'll try to help y'all out with anything I can. But it should be running here shortly, and I think it's gonna be fun. All right, I'll see y'all later.